Don't you dare touch my constitutional right to own a gun. Fuck the Constitution when it comes to deporting them there illegals. This upcoming soapbox rant is inspired by people who don't give a fuck about the Constitution. That is the truth, but this topic was specifically triggered by a comment that I got on a post the other day regarding the people currently being deported without due process. The commenter said the following: "My honest opinion is that if you enter a country without permission, you forget all due process and will be deported immediately, if not sooner. I am tired of liberals padding the districts they need help winning elections. This has nothing to do with due process and everything to do with winning elections by redistricting our country in any fashion that they choose." Now, I am not going to say the name of the person who posted this comment because this video isn't just for him. I've actually heard this sort of constitutional dismissiveness, if you will, from lots of people on social media. So this video is for anyone who pretends to be a constitutionalist, but then pisses all over the Constitution whenever it's convenient to defend their positions. It's for the sort of person who demands for others to respect the words of the founding father in the Constitution as if those words were handed down by God himself, but then justify ignoring parts of the Constitution when it benefits their own selfish, inhumane desires. And you know who you are. Don't you dare touch my constitutional right to own a gun. Fuck the Constitution when it comes to deporting them there illegals. Don't you dare touch my constitutional right to religious freedom. But fuck the Constitution when it comes to deporting them there illegals. Yeah. You guys know who you are. So just for clarity, I want to read some important statements about due process and birthright citizenship that I got from constitution.congress.gov just to show you my receipts. And for those of you who want to go and read it yourself, it states that the Fifth Amendment provides that no person, now it does not say citizen, that's very important, shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Generally, due process guarantees to protect individual rights by limiting the exercise of government power. Procedural due process often requires the government to provide a person with notice and an opportunity for a hearing before such a deprivation. The Fifth Amendment due process clause protects all persons within U.S. territory, including corporations, aliens, and presumptively citizens seeking readmission to the United States. This due process clause is further supported by the 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. So those facts about birthright citizenship and the due process clauses are important before I proceed with purging my mind on my soapbox. And this soapbox rant is specifically inspired by the line this dude said on his comment where he expressed that he was tired of liberals padding the districts in which they need help winning elections. That's what he's sick and tired of, huh? Well, you know what I'm sick and tired of? Buckle up while I count the ways. I am sick and tired of people who think they can figure out who illegal immigrants are just by looking at them. I am sick and tired of rapists and serial killers getting better treatment than people whose only crime might have ever been walking across a fucking border. I am sick and tired of people pretending like it's fine to treat humans in ways that they would not treat their fucking dogs. I am sick and tired of people who want to do away with birthright citizenship, even though some of your European ancestors didn't come here legally. And it's likely that very birthright citizenship clause that is the sole reason you are able to call yourself a fucking citizen of the United States today. I am sick and tired of people who call the J6 rioters patriots and heroes when they start destroying shit and attacking cops on behalf of their causes, but the LA rioters, they're all fucking criminals. Fuck your hypocrisy. I'm sick and tired of people who cherry pick the Constitution, but then have the nerve to whine about people who disrespect the founding fathers. Hypocrite. I am sick and tired of people who say they want people to do things legally in this country, But then you justify the president breaking the law because you want some expediency in dealing with our immigration problems. I'm sick and tired of people who say that they want people to come to this country and do things legally. But then you had the audacity to vote for somebody who is a convicted fucking felon. I'm sick and tired of people who pretend as if inhumanely deporting people without due process is the only way to solve immigration. I'm sick and tired of mega corporations making millions and billions off the hands of cheap labor, but never being held accountable for knowingly hiring illegal citizens to do it. Where is your outrage with these corporations? Why aren't you boycotting the places that make your cheap ass football game wings off the backs of illegal labor? Why aren't you demanding that these companies be fined daily for their illegal practices? If you want to solve illegal immigration, that is the main way to do it. You start fining these companies $100,000 per day if they are ever found to violate the law. And I promise you, they will immediately cease those practices. When illegal citizens can no longer find work, they will self-deport or finally find the motive to become a legal citizen. But these big companies are never held accountable because politicians are likely having their pockets lined with mega corporation cash just to turn a blind eye to their bullshit. When these companies are allowed to continue these illegal practices, it gives less motivation to people to become legal citizens. But somehow immigrants are the only ones who get shitted on when illegal immigration becomes a problem. And I am sick of it. Another way to handle illegal immigration humanely is to, first of all, give people due process. And then just put a process in place that gives people 24 to 36 months to become legal citizens. As long as they've already been an active part of the community and have no other criminal record, what is so wrong with that? Just put them in the position to have to pay taxes and whatever else. If they don't meet the deadline after that, then I can understand deporting people. Look, I want people here legally too. Do not get me wrong on that, okay? But I also want people to be treated with the same level of due process privileges that fucking rapists and serial killers get in the court system. And if you truly believe in the Constitution and the rule of law, you should be demanding that just as much as you demand your fucking right to keep and bear arms. And if you are not demanding that the Constitution is strictly abided by, then how do you call yourself a true patriot? Or someone who has respect for the founding fathers and the unique document that they crafted. A document that people flock to this country for. People like your European ancestors, some of whom might have come here illegally and gave birth to a child who became an instant citizen because of the unique birthright citizenship clause. That is a clause that you and your ancestors benefited from, but some of you sit here and you applaud Trump for trying to get rid of it because there's now a different race of people doing exactly what your fucking ancestors may have done. How is it remotely a show of respect to the founding fathers to insist that we ignore the due process clause, a clause that may have prevented you or your loved ones from being locked up at some point because you had the right to force the state to provide overwhelming evidence of your guilt before sending you to prison? How is it remotely patriotic to insist that you and your potentially illegal immigrant ancestors are somehow special enough for these constitutional protections, but other people on the soil are not? When you want to pick and choose the parts of the Constitution that we should adhere to or pick and choose who it should apply to within the U.S. border, how do you call yourself anything other than an unpatriotic, cherry-picking hypocrite? Good luck defending that.